craving for the light. Now, all strive for one goal.
Taking that life of the Akayas, whether he does the jump on Emperado.
Put your hands together for the champion.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion worthy of the highest glory?
Welcome to the Mobile Legends Bang Bang World Championship here. My name is ICBB12 and joined with me is none other than the legendary Husky himself. How are you, Husky?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. You call me a legend. I think you're a myth as well.
Yes, I'm a mythic. Yes, for sure.
Yes, definitely a mythic.
Anyways, guys, for those of you watching here, we have seen some excruciating moments for some of these teams and also some amazing games so far throughout the Group B stages here. I'm looking forward to see if Burmese Ghost versus Team Gosu. Will Team Gosu make a miraculous comeback here? Because as of now, the current standings, they need 2 clean O's against Burmese Ghost.
Yeah, and they're up against the strongest team, arguably, undoubtedly the strongest team in Group B, Burmese Ghost. They came in, they did not accommodate the meta. They went with their own style and they got 4 clean wins so far. This is their last set.
Yep, let's take a look at the, remember to catch every battle stream like Craig, get unlimited data for all apps with Killer Unlimited GX30 only with you mobile. But before that here, we are going to be heading into the drafts very, very shortly here. But as of now, what are your thoughts here? Like, we have to take a look at the schedules, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, for the Burmese Ghouls, at least, I feel like, like I mentioned, they have their own meta. They came in, they had Jawhead, they had Ministar, these heroes that we just don't normally see. But Burmese Ghouls, these are the picks that I feel like does break the game, and in a good way, because everyone is just confined to this textbook play. We go for the highlights, we go for the Grob, we go for the Damos, Masha. Burmese Ghouls, they show up and be like, we don't play by the rules, and we are winning because of that.
Oh yeah, speaking to which as well, during their interview as well, they brought up a very solid partner as well. Panda plays, was one of the MVPs for MSC 2018 with the Jawhead, so he's definitely a comfort hero here. He's no stranger to hero, and a lot of people tend to underestimate the power of Jawhead. He brought it into the meta. Maybe, we might see a couple of teams start to incorporate some of the styles here coming from Burmese Schools, but they are definitely a team we gotta be watching out for, especially coming from them. But Team Gosu, they are on the edge here. They've seen how Burmese took down Axis Esports 2-0, also took down the guys from Candy Comeback 2-0. So Team Gosu, they were on a whiff as well. They were on a close call against Candy Comeback early on in game number 1. They almost lost as well. A little bit of mistake here, but they managed to capitalize on the situation and go in for the win in game 1. So hopefully now they've gathered some thoughts here. Why? Because this could be the draft phase here, going up against Burmese Ghosts.
Yeah, Team Gosu, they played from behind during their previous series against Candy Comeback, and because they somehow came back in what felt like an impossible situation, now they're feeling hyped up. This is the last game. Ken Ray in the previous interview said that it's time for Team Gosu, it's time for us to bring out our trump card. I'm excited to see what the trump card is.
Yeah, speaking of the trump cards as well, I like how we are matching teams as well. Blue team, red team, and we have one on the blue side. So did Burmese Ghost my team here?
Yeah, I mean, I can settle with Team Gosu. They look like fun guys, and especially you look at the camera right now. This particular guy, he loves the camera. He's having fun. His expression is just amazing. But now it's all about seriousness. It's all about trying to bag these wins. They need a clean 2-0 to stay alive in this group stage, or else they will be out. And unfortunately, it's against the strongest team that they have to face so far.
Well, it's not unfortunate here, because why? They will be making the history here if they manage to take down the win here. But as of now, Burmese Ghouls opening things off with the high loss pick. Gosu will take off the Masha and also the Grok themselves here. Not too sure how they're going to be playing this here, but at the same time, we've seen some quick succession so far. But PV and DV, also known as Panda apparently. I didn't realize it, but it's apparently Panda coming from PV and DV. So Burmese Ghost, Jawhead, that is going to be his signature over there. Kid001 with the Fame Blue Nox as well. Pretty standard stuff coming from Burmese Ghost. And not too sure if Team Ghost has an answer to that. And it seems to me they are going to be picking the Valor.
Yeah, the problem that Burmese Ghost present at least to this group, is the fact that they have Jawhead, one of the most played, most successful heroes that Panda played, and other than that, they have the Minister that have yet to shown after that one game. But this particular Jawhead is the problem for the drafting phase, because you can't just simply dedicate a ban to Jawhead because you open up so much. If you ban a Jawhead, you're opening up the two other priority picks that is just not worth to kind of surrender to Burmese School. So they are most likely going to get that Jawhead almost every single game. And the only way for any team, even for any team, not just Team Gosu, to deal against the Jawhead is to find a way to play around what Burmese Goals wants to achieve. And no team has ever done that just yet.
Yeah, that's something we have to figure out later on here. But hopefully, if Team Gosu figure this out, they'll be able to overcome this here. But the carry has been bad here. They are going to be playing a double tank composition, which is going to be super tanky here. Now they have the Grok. Basha is kind of one of those heroes that deals really well. But Kimmy is kind of bad as well. So we're looking at a limited pool in terms of marksmen here coming from both teams. So Cloud is still in the pool. Granger definitely for sure. Is Team Gosu going to be picking Granger? We shall see, because right now they have the Wilder pick. So Burmese Go may consider taking the Lolita and then transition into maybe the Chang'e as well, but seems to me Team Gosu will be picking the Bruno for themselves.
Yeah, they definitely want to score a goal for this series. Bruno has been picked twice. This is going to be the third time we see Bruno on the battlefield, and I actually had a little chat with the broadcaster for the Mlbb broadcast this morning. I chatted with Admas. We talked about how actually there's an abundance of marksmen that each team can go for, but because we're focused so much on carry, we're focused so much on that Granger, we kind of left out that there's Bruno and there's even Moskov that can be picked if the situation calls for it.
Well, yeah, that is something that is going to be a niche thing here as well, when you talk about the Moskov, right? But I feel like it's kind of out of meta just because all these other teams is able to bring out such an early aggression, right? Like Moskov's kind of a little bit late towards the later stage game here. Even Bruno was something that I was really shocked of coming from Burmese schools, that they actually pulled it off, because it takes too long to come online. Like, yes, you have this early creep aggression here, but you need to set things up for teams. But that's the whole point of marksman, right? I agree with you, say Moskov can be played, but I feel like in terms of meta-wise, in terms of mobility, you know, for me, I think Bruno will be a safer choice in that sense. But I don't know, you know, I don't think this Bruno is going to be able to do much, at least for a good solid first 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you definitely need time. It's something like the carry, something like the Moskov, right? It's all about the build-up. The Claude as well falls into almost the same category.
Oh, yeah.
But Burmese Ghouls will lock in that Baxia as that last pick. We've not seen too much success on this hero just yet. The only team that's been able to pull off an amazing Baxia game was our RQ against Evo's SG, while, as what I believe Tutu said, a direct counter to the high lows.
Definitely here, but in this case here, there's not much counter to work with here. Burmese Go, they had the Baxia for themselves. Not too sure how. Okay, maybe the Baxia is great. Okay, that's the thing, right? We've always focused on its passive ability here, which counters off whatever healing that's going to be dished out. It's kind of like a free Necklace of Endurance or Sea Hilbert in these regards. But we're talking about cutting back lines. Right? We pay attention to Team Gosu's draft. Our drafts kind of have this really annoying heroes to catch with. In this case would be the Valir. So, you know, to close the distance, I agree with what Eden say as well. Baxia is kind of like a rip-off version of Johnson. So you kind of dodge your way through to the backlines and try and pick on off themselves. So I think that's kind of game plan here for Burmese Ghouls, but that's the whole point. They had the Jawhead initially, right? Yeah,
and the Jawhead is a threat on his own. He does not have to purposely rush in with that ultimate and get a pick off, or rush in and eject someone into his team. The fact that Jawhead is in the vicinity, in proximity of the Gosu cores, makes him a big enough threat that Gosu might just hesitate to pull the trigger. But again, against this Jawhead, because the nature of this hero is aggressive, you might want to take the fight straight to Burmese Ghouls.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, here, this is going to be the fourth series for today. It's going to be Burmese Ghouls going up against Team Gosu from the USA and also from Myanmar, coming in from Burmese Ghouls.
Yeah, and Lady Liberty is definitely watching this series right now. The USA team goes to their first tournament for Mlbb, their first championship as a team, and they are in this predicament, this deciding series against Burmese Ghouls, topping that Group B. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be fun to watch.
Yes, definitely here. But Panda will be on the off-lane role here. He's going to OP himself. He does have the high and dry assassin emblem here, and he's going to try and buy a little bit of time here. But Team Gosu He's going to be trying to steal off this buff. Nicely done here from Henry. And I don't think he's going to get punished here, but here comes Ice with the stun. Here comes follow-up from Kid001. The flicker from Henry. He's going to buy time here. Apparently, I think he's going to get picked off, but Movies goes to ignore him.
He's gonna get out. There's no point wasting time trying to chase down this Masha. She does have the mobility. She has the extra movement speed, and it's just way too much of a hassle to try and catch her off. And Team Gosu, they're doing what Burmese Ghost did to this morning to Team Axis. They got that first turret in under a minute and a half. Perfectly done by Team Gosu.
But before that here, for those of you watching here, there is going to be a redemption code for you to redeem some skins or some prizes here. This is the code for you guys to type in right now. There's going to be a limited amount here for those of you trying to redeem it here. But as of now, remember to redeem here, but hold that down for now because on one side here, Panda going for a dive here, but unfortunately doesn't seem to be able to connect those ejector here. However, Reezy in some trouble. Here comes the darkness here. He's going to go for the catch here. And how will they do this?
And Basic is going to go in, has the Phantom Steed, runs out at the last second, but it's okay. I want to point out what Basic did with that Leomon. It was perfectly done. So Panda tried to go in for the eject. He got the steed, he knocked Panda back, canceled the eject animation to avoid getting tossed back into the incoming Burmese Goose. But that will give the blue team, the Turtle at least, and Team Gosu, at least they did not lose a single member.
Yep. .001, he wants to retaliate, but well, looks like he seems to be disengaging this fight.
Oh, Team Gosu, they say they're bouncing back. We look at the replay for just now. Maybe completely caught out. Not his fault though. Team Gosu, they came in with a perfect collapse to make sure that he was not able to use that glorious pathway to get out. And because of that, Team Gosu managed to stall out Burmese Goose aggression.
Now, speaking of which, here we see a little bit of harassment coming from Burmese Goose. They want to contest the blue buff now, and Team Gosu, how are they going to respond to this stun onto us? Maybe, but at the same time, oh no, Ice! He was trying to go back, but unfortunately gets cancelled here. And Kendrick being sneaky again, trying to steal off the blue buff for himself, but it seems to me he's going to make his attempt here. He knows Kid001 needs the buff, but forces a flicker. Kendrick, is he going to be alright? Here comes the glorious buff in the stun. Two-man connection here, but the team gets picked off here because Basic from the side team goes to, they steal the blue buff, they take him down, and now they are split up. How will they do this?
And his team goes to manage to pick up the Lunox in the beginning, which pick up one coin in the beginning means that Boomers go, they're running out of gas. Panda tries to go in and make something happen, not able to do so, and now Ice as the Buckstar has to retreat immediately. Polo is there as the backup for Team Gosu, and just great execution from the American squad.
Wow, Henry with the baits here, space created all by himself, and Burmese Goose, they definitely weren't expecting such an aggressive Marsha coming in here, and usually we always see the split push potential, but Henry is making full use of those abilities that the Marsha has to offer, the invulnerabilities to buy time for the team, and it's working out for them. And as of now, Team Gosu, they're a 700 goal lead overall compared to Burmese Go. Pretty 50-50, but as of now, Ice, uh-oh.
Ice again caught out, has a glorious pathway. This time they rejuvenate, they revitalize, actually keeping him alive. So Team Gosu not able to get anything in return, but Kid now joins the fight. Maybe finding that pick onto Polo, forcing him back. Breezy is now isolated from the rest of his team as Ace tries to go for the chase. Not able to get that, but Turtle is up. Burmese Goes, the second turtle will be the target. Team Gosu this time, they might be ready to collapse, and they immediately falls to wet, but Ace, way too ambitious, will be picked up, and this time for Team Gosu to try back Basic, dropping low, but able to stave off Burmese Goes on that turtle attack. Team Gosu again, perfect patience.
That was ridiculous creep coming from the Leomon and the Bruno as well. As soon as his HP dropped below the 30% mark, one swing and Ace was taken out here. A little bit late with the revitalize there, but a nice call there, nice reactions coming from Team Gosu. And currently they are in the lead with the Masha, and Team Gosu, they're on the chase with the Phantom Steed now.
Kid again being caught out for the third time, and that is a killing spree for Basic. Gets the pushback onto Ice. Here comes Ace, goes right in, tries to do the damage, but they're not able to do so. Glorious parry for maybe though. Maybe this is the chance for Burmese Go, but for them it's just a retreat call. They are signaling the red flag. They're not going to take this fight against Team Gosu.
They're going to be playing this a little bit safe here. Burmese Goals, they are losing in terms of economy, but the gold buff once again. Team Gosu, they want to contest this, but will they be able to? Your Demon Hunter sword up on towards the Masha already here, and Ice tried to pick off into his Valer, but unfortunately doesn't seem to connect the dot.
And I want to take this quick moment to just commend what Kenray is doing. He's feeling really good on this Masha after that previous series against Candy comeback. He's creating so much space. This jaw hit by Panda, he was supposed to go around following the rest of the ghouls to create space, but because of Kenray, jaw hit Panda is stuck in the same lane for the longest time ever. Kenray is just walking away with Grand Theft Auto in the jungle, in the lane, and Brumis goes, they want to force this fight. Glorious pathway. And the force duet straight into the backline. Polo gets caught out. Breezy is gonna melt as well. Ace, this initiation is not as ambitious, and it will pay off. Now Basics gonna jump in, try to fight this Claw, but Claw will get to safety. General has to retreat as well. And Burmans go. My force team goes to the bow down to them. They'll settle for 2 kills and they'll lose 1 in return.
What a huge blazing duet there coming from Ace. Very ambitious, but definitely Team Gosu wasn't expecting a fully stacked Cloud there. And you can see this engagement from the backslide. Blazing duet cuts out 2 to 3 members. Everyone was dropping so low. Basic was caught out as well, which gave them kind of a slight edge here, but nice save there comes from General for just zoning out 007. They wanted the objectives, unfortunately. Oh, the stun from Panda. He tried to go for the stun.
Oh,
However,
again, call out. You have the Revitalize to keep him alive. Glorious Pathway is dead. Law and order on top of Breezy. Breezy will flicker to safety. General hitting that soccer ball onto Ace 07 will send him back to the rest of his team. But again, Team Gosu, they had this issue against the series when they were playing against Axis Esports. The front line was split from the course, and that was exactly what happened in the fight that Ace saw an amazing opportunity for that flawless duet. Hopefully Team Gosu noticed that and will rectify it in the upcoming fights.
Well, maybe, but at the same time, your Ace 007, he's got a brand new golden staff now. This Cloud is going to slowly but surely hit like a truck. Kendrick, he's going to try and solo Jawhead all by himself out on the Panda, but the blue buff, once again, Team Gosu, they want to reset this fight, and Burmese Gold, they want to contest this here. Nice wall block there. Unfortunately, no contestants coming from Burmese Gold now.
Team Gosu, they might go for the class right now. They see the opportunity. Kenray, he knows he can fight, and Burmese Goals, they know they can't. So Team Gosu, again, forcing Burmese Goals back. They're playing it slow and meticulous. First for today, first for Team Gosu at least, and Burmese Goals, they're finding it slightly hard to penetrate the red team.
Well, seems to me right now they are respecting each other's boundaries here. The blue buff has always been contested from both sides here, and Burmese Gold, they want to make an engagement here. Wall charge away. Space created coming from Breezy 007. He's going to clear out the mid lane, but for the Lord is going to be up for grabs. Ice going to roam his way through, open up the map a little bit more to get those information, to try to catch out one of the members, maybe even some of the members from side Team Gosu. Will they be able to do that? That's going to be the question, but we know Lord is going to be the objective coming in from both sides now.
And Team Gosu, they actually set up the top median wave, so they don't have to worry about that particular lane for now, and the entirety of their attention is going to be focused on that lower area. Burmese Gold know that. They know that they have to protect this lower area, and the fantasy does come out. Ice call out once again, Glorious Pathway, and Rejuvenate does keep the box there alive, but now Burmese Gold, time for the re-engage. Here comes Panda trying to look for a target, and he will find a valid. Polo though does survive, and that means that Panda is isolated from Resident Team. Great wild charge from Breezy as Team Gosu breeze through the fire. Is unstoppable for Basic. Team Gosu with the perfect response.
Oh wow, Burmese Goose, they tried to dive, overcommit towards Polo, tried to take down the Valor himself. Unfortunately gets picked off, but now it's not over yet right now. He wants to pick off Basic here. Ice does not have the damage or the movement speed to chase through his Leomon here. They need Kid 001 to do this fight. However, great attempt there from his Team Gosu here. They punish Panda for that misplay here to try to overextend towards Polo, and did not get the kill from San Burmese Goose.
And at the same time, because Kid 001 got picked up 3 times in a row by Basic in the early game, this Leomon is 5-0-2. We talk about how he's the neutral pick. He's the pick that does not counter too much hero, but does not have much counter. Safe, stable, always able to scale, and you give him such a big lead, Team Gosu will ride that wave.
Yep, Wind Talker is up on the Masha here. He's going to make a little bit more movement speeds here coming in from Kenray. He's going to be very, very quickly here, but Ace, he's all by himself. He's trying to buy them at time here. The Lord is going to be up for grabs. Ace tries to go for the juke. They raid for him. Kenray will get one-shotted. Kenray will take him down, and Team Gosu, their one-man advantage right now.
And Burmese Gold still want to take this fight. Brilliance from Kid. He will find a kill on the Valley first, and here comes Panda with the attack on top of Basic as well. They find the Bruno, and it's the double alley-oop. The slam dunk from Panda. Burmese Gold, they will stop that Lord attempt.
they needed that kill. They needed those wins here, but at the same time, they've lost ace in the process. Definitely a worthy process. Burmese Goose, they've lost a lot of fights here. They're trying to equalize the economy here, and so far, so good. They lose in terms of four kills here, but at the same time, they definitely were able to keep up in terms of momentum here. It's not over yet for Burmese Goose, but Team Gosu, they need to find a way to apply the pressure even harder now. Kenray is doing exactly that right now from side of Team Gosu.
And if you are a Marsha and you are able to run around the map like this, you're going to pose a lot of problem for Burmese Goose. Kenray has been keeping Panda in check for the longest time ever, and now he's diverting the resources of Burmese Goose. There's 4 members from the blue team trying to chase him out. Ace will find him. Panda as well coming in, trying to go for the eject, and Kenray knows he's going to die, but he's brought enough space, and hopefully this is worth for Team Gosu.
That is crazy there, throwing his body to just buy space, but Team Gosu, they lost the earlier fight here. They don't mind throwing this body here to open up the map, and that's exactly what they have done. But as of now, Team Gosu, they need to win this fight. Panda catches on the basic. He misses the Phantom
Steed. Away from the Phantom Steed, and here comes the glorious pathway. Basic's not going to make it out of this one. The shutdown for the Hylos, and maybe it's going to be Burmese Goes to turn things around. Ice with the engage for the Backstairs Shield Unity. He does roll right in. Burmese Goes, the rest of the team starting on that Lord, but they will be ready to collapse if Team Goes whoever comes near. Lord down to 50%. Can Team Goes to pull off anything? They're going to push the middle wave out. They concede this Lord as he will go over to the way of Burmese Schools. The retribution is here, and Burmese Schools will continue to collapse, but great maneuver from General to take out the tier 2 mid. He has bought time for the rest of his team, but can he get away? No, Panda follows him. He needs one more king, but it seems like he won't get that, and he will be slain by Ice.
Nicely done there, coming in from Burmese Goose to make that retaliation, but Team Gosu, Kenray, they're in some trouble now because why he's getting died pretty hard. Here comes Kid as well. With the darkness here, he's gonna go in for the dive, but unfortunately a little bit too quick there, like you said, with the Wind Talker as well. But Burmese Goose right now, they managed to equalize the score. They're gonna try, there's not in the lead yet, but the Lord is gonna be in their favor. Burmese Goose is gonna try and capitalize in all this situation. Team Gosu, how will they fight this year? They need to wait for the Blue General to actually come online now.
Yeah, the later the game goes, the better it is for Team Gosu. The first time that this team has a goalie the entire day, and it's against the strongest team in the group as well. However, Burmese Goose, because of that lore, they can easily go for this stage. You can see they're pushing 1 and 4, 2 lanes, getting pressured at the same time. This is where Kenray is going to do what he does best. Split push the bottom lane, hope that his team can hold it, but Burmese Goose might not let that happen. Breezy immediately ejected to the back of the Burmese Goose team, has the wild shot to safety, and that is good for them. Basically trying to get a push back, Valley with the defense, but Polo not enough, and the blazing duet from A007 will make sure that Burmese Goose will get the kills that they need, and this should be the final push. Kenray does recall back, can he defend his base? A few final touches from Burmese Goose, and they will secure game 1 of this best of 3.
Why? Oh my, that was a close call there from Team Gosu. They gave Burmese Goose a run for their money, and because of that, you saw how things almost went south for them, but Team Gosu, they definitely stepped it up here. They look like a pretty strong team now.
Yeah, in game 1, I think Team Gosu really stepped up their game with the picks. I'm not sure which the trump card is, but I feel like maybe the trump card that they refer to could be the Bruno, could be the Leomont, because these two, especially the Leomont basic, has had an amazing performance in game 1.
Yeah,
the only mistake was that Kenray didn't recall fast enough because he thought the team could hold. Burmese Goose did not let that happen.
Yeah, I like how Burmese Goose, they understood that this Marsha is just buying a lot of time. They completely ignored them, but at the same time, they were struggling a lot because of this Marsha as well. And Burmese Goose, they might consider banning the Marsha the next pick here because it's super annoying in terms of lane control here. But you still have to give credit towards the decision making being made from Burmese Goose. Even in the middle fight and the late fights here in the last fight, where you saw how the support's coming from Navy with the Glorious Pathway, just making sure they keep that in track here. And there was a few times here, they made a little mistake here, right here. Maybe he knew he could have just run all the way back for his Glorious Pathway, but as soon as he saw the damage output, even with as soon as he goes out for the Revitalize, he's pretty much dead. So might as well just buy it a bit of time. And that was a salvage decision that he made. Very nicely done.
You can see that from the get-go, Team Gosu has such a big lead. This is where Panda tried to come in and make something happen. Did not, that was not the case, and Team Gosu had full control. They had the goal lead the entire game up until those last final moments, and this is where the turnaround point began for Burmese Schools. 8007 recognized that the front line from Team Gosu was not there with the course. Blazing Duet finishes off the back line, and Burmese Schools, because of this, they were able to regain the momentum ever so slightly.
Yeah, definitely. But as the game progressed, Ice from side Burmese Schools was struggling a lot, but at the same time, he was doing the necessary job as a tank. Just dish out, bait out as much spells. And this was the play here from Panda. He made a mistake. He went in for the dive, but he could not eject follow in time. And because of that overcommitment, everyone from side of Burmese Schools kind of overextended and just got punished. And this is where there was the second blunder coming from Burmese Schools, which allowed Team Gosu to just maintain their lead.
But this was where Panda got retribution. This is where he redeemed himself. He waited patiently for Violet to retreat, and then the toss was perfect. Both cores were caught and basing now. This is where Team Gosu started to go into a bit of panic mode to recover from those mishaps, and it never happened. They tried to buy space, they tried to push lanes, they tried to contest objective. Burmese Schools responded to every single call that Team Gosu made, and with that, the Lord at the end of the game.
Yeah, Panda definitely a master of the draw hit here. Except for that one-time blunder, every single fight that they won, it's all because Panda that started things off. Even this one as well, they forced Breezy to have to back off, which opens up the map a little bit here for them to actually contest the crystal. And this time, because of this opening of the map, right, they just got this entire control. They're just able to just tag the crystal. They don't even need to go for team fight. They just aim objectives here. So very nicely done here from the side of Burmese Schools.
Yeah, and crystal is always going to be the final objective for any team for the win. And with that win, Burmese Schools, they have locked in officially first place in Group B. They don't have to worry about their standings anymore. But of course, this is not the end of the best of 3. They still have potentially 2 more games if Gosu can make a comeback. But they definitely have proven Group B is their territory.
Yeah, definitely here. But currently Burmese Schools definitely having one of the highest points out of all the teams here. So far, flawless victory here, undefeated until now. They have totaled up to about right now
7 points.
7 points for sure. And if they take a 2-0 against Team Gosu, that's gonna be what, 9 points?
9 points. Yeah.
So undefeated. I don't know. Team Gosu.
They're still enjoying this, They still have fun. They managed to take a win, to take a series off of Candy Comeback. This is their first tournament, and then he's not happy with that. He's not happy with that loss, but I'm pretty sure Team Gosu, they tried their best, especially in putting out such a fight against Burmese Schools. I must say, even Burmese Schools against Team Axis Esports and Candy Comeback, none of these two teams have been able to give Burmese Schools a goal deficit, and Team Gosu, they are the first one to do so.
Oh yeah. But at the same time here, Team Gosu, do you think the 2-1 win against Burmese Schools is going to be able to skyrocket them into its top 2?
Top 2, maybe not possible. I mean, you need the stars to align in that final series. We still have one more series between Axis Esports and Candy Comeback, and Team Gosu need a miracle to happen. They need to win the next 2 games and pray that the last series goes their way. They need all the universe to be in their favor, not just Lady Luck. But right now, the draft of the second game has begun. Kufra and Kimi will be the first 2 to go.
Yep, pretty standard, so they're coming from both teams here. But at the same time, I feel like Burmese Schools, they may consider just banning off the Marsha. They just don't want to deal with it from side Team Gosu.
Yeah, and Kufra, we've only seen Kufra once, and we got the casted game between RQ and VFM, and Kufra was the tyrant that everyone feared. Got VFM one of the most dominating victories against RQ. Kimi as well. We saw Kimi play earlier on, and by Candy Comeback, it was devastating. Team Gosu had to fight with their lives to beat that Kimi lineup. This time, Team Gosu, they'll take out the high loss as well.
Yeah, speaking of the high lows here, Grok is going to be in the pool, but if they decide to just ban the Grok here, both teams are forced to play non-meta tanks here. But at the same time, Kaja is going to be in the pool as well. Damu's tank is not that great.
Xbox is
Xbox for sure in the pool as well. And then we haven't seen Terizla at all anymore ever since the nerf. We did see a couple games in the Malaysia Singapore region, but at the same time, not gonna happen. You know, I don't think anyone's gonna be picking Terizla here, but Grok, first pick here, they are gonna be forcing Gosu to pick their Grok here from Burmese Goose, so they can actually open up the marshal for themselves if and only if they go for it.
The Burmese Goose, the daring Gosu. Do you want Grok? Do you want X-Grok? There are a couple of choices for Team Gosu to go for, but they're gonna settle for the Grok.
Yeah, seems to me it is going to be Grok here, but the Xbox is going to be up for grabs. Burmese Goose, they may consider just taking the Xbox and leaving the Jawhead open here. Like, do they even need Panda's Jawhead in this game? Yeah, I don't think so, right?
I mean, you don't lose anything by not picking the Jawhead, because you know for a fact that Team Gosu will not be picking that Jawhead. That is the advantage.
Non-meta.
The advantage, you know, of non-meta, the advantage that Burmese Goose has. You leave the Jawhead open, no one's gonna pick it. You leave the Ministar open, no one's gonna pick it. So for Burmese Goose, they are in a really sweet spot.
Yeah, and not to mention as well, Harif is kind of in full. So the Minsitar, people would actually pick it if you actually decide to actually go for the Harif here. But looks like you were wrong. It seems to me Burmese Goose will prioritize on picking the Jawhead for Panda. Maybe just because they could consider like, hey, this could be an off-lane of off-lane Jawhead, it might be a tank Jawhead. It seems to me they are giving away the Xbox, throwing towards Team Gosu. It seems to me Burmese Goose, they're trying something new here.
Yeah, this is generosity from Burmese Goose. They're giving away all these picks to Team Gosu because they are confident in Panda's Jawhead. And we see Panda's Jawhead doing absolutely amazing. And now maybe, like you say, they might try something. We have talked about Kagura since day one. We have not seen that just yet. Zax at one point could be the annoying mage that, you know, if you fall back to the very niche pool, you might consider it, but we have not seen it just yet. Burmese Goose, though, they're toying with our feelings, they're hovering over that Zax, but I'm not putting too much money on it.
Yeah,
there we go.
Harif for sure is the first pick here. It's kind of one of the strongest mage in terms of early aggression, especially if you want to fight against a Grok, right? But they have Kaja available, so in terms of early aggression here, Burmese Goose, they have a very strong early lineup here, composition, just because they have a Jawhead, Kaja, and Harif. But at the same time, in terms of early as well, you have to put Xbox in the picture. One of the craziest, earliest offlaners that you can think of, especially on the fighter role.
Yeah, and of course with the last insanity, a skill that everyone just fears. Xbox just gains so much with his Viagra armor as well. With that last insanity, we've seen what Candy Comeback was able to accomplish with Xbox. Even though they lost, the potential of this hero is just absolutely amazing. But Team Gosu, they will ban out the carry for the second time.
Yeah, carry. What's going to be the next ban here? Let's see. They have a marksman, they have an off-lane here from Gosu, but they do not have a secondary tank or a mage here. So in terms of mage department here, the mage that they need to be very helpful inside of Burmese Goose is the Esmeralda. But Esmeralda composition with their current lineup is kind of like a 50-50 situation, but never mind, it's out. Yep. It's out of the window.
Esmeralda, the last man by Burmese Goose. And for Team Gosu, I wouldn't mind if they fall back to their Leo mode once again. They felt like Leo mode is slightly more comfortable, but because of the presence of the X-Borg, I highly doubt so. Now they need the second tank. No high lows. Arca is going to be one, but it's not really within the Team Gosu meta. They will lock in their Lunox. This is going to be the first Digi pick. I think it might be.
Yeah, I actually like the Digi pick here. Like the Digi's time journey here deals completely well with the Divine Judgment as well as the with the Jawhead as well. So it kind of brings free a little bit here, but the timing was hit comes spot on for him to actually pull it off. So it's all up towards people Digi to actually make those kind of mid 4-5v5 mid engagements here. But see how the Digi goes here. Burmese Goose, they took out Esmeralda, it immediately opens up the Digi. What do they pick here? They need a Franco. Yeah, Franco is great here. Like, the bite here is just completely shuts down whatever the Digi is trying to do. But if and only if they go there for it. Seems to be Gato Kaja is going to be the objective here. So it's going to be an Ice Gato Kaja maybe?
Yeah, the Gato Kaja, I actually like that pick. I believe Burmese Ghouls were the only one who played Gato Kacha again.
Yeah.
Another pick that you just don't normally see. And he doesn't completely disable what this Diggy is trying to do, but he poses an extra layer of threat. Diggy, with the time journey, great. But with Gato Kacha in it, you don't really want to clump up just for that Diggy ultimate. So we'll see what Team Gosu has up their sleeves with this Diggy pick. It could be the trump card that Kenray mentioned in the previous interview.
Yeah, definitely here. But speaking of the trump cards here, I don't know. Based on the drafts here, Burmese Ghouls seem to be playing a very risky draft. But at the same time, you know, like in normal pub games, I think like, hey, Jawhead, nope, not gonna happen. But after seeing Panda play it, there is hope. There is really strong hope. I'm sorry to say, you know, Panda is a beast on the Jawhead. He's proven it time to time again here. But Team Gosu, they're not giving up. Will they take game 2? We shall see. But who are you favoring more?
I mean, statistically on paper, I would still go with Burmese Ghouls simply because they are just on another level. But Team Gosu has shown that in this brutal round robin format, you don't have much time, like what, half an hour to adapt to every series. Them being able to take a page out of the other 3 teams and use it against Burmese Ghouls, even in that loss, I think they emerged victorious in some aspect.
Yeah, to a certain degree here, but you know, adapting is the key here. But ladies and gentlemen, here, this is gonna be game number 2 for Team Gosu going up against Burmese Ghouls.
Team Gosu, we'll see if they do the same thing like game 1 as what Team Burmese Ghouls have done with those towers. I think that opening up the map has been one of the biggest success for Burmese Ghouls. The Team Gosu also found success with it, but early scuffle in the middle lane. Ice getting chunked down by the X-Block, but the Rejuvenate, the Revitalize actually keeping everyone for Burmese Ghouls alive. Maybe does flicker in, but way too far forward, and maybe not such a good idea for that one. First blood over the Team Gosu.
Overextension coming in from this Kaja. He flickered forward, expecting that the Grok is not going to be able to swing him here. The Revitalized bottom of the time here. Nicely done coming from Kenray, but unfortunately gets a mighty swing. Actually, it was Breezy who actually dropped the Revitalize, so nicely done there coming from Team Gosu. Burmese Ghouls once again flexing a little bit too much and gets punished for it.
And if you're fighting into a Kenray's export early on, maybe not the wisest idea for Burmese Ghouls. They kind of underestimated what Team Gosu was able to do in that small area, and they paid the price for it. And the best part is, basically got the kill.
Yeah, but as the game progresses here, now Burmese Ghouls, they've lost the Kaja a little bit here, but they want to get those 4 up before the next turtle buff available. 30 seconds going to be on the clock here before it actually hits in. So they're going to be trying to start things off with securing those those blue buffs before engaging the turtle side here. Basic hits level 4. He's going to try and pick a fight with Burmese Ghouls here. Kid 001 also with the Harif.
I don't think Kid 001 wants to take this, but he's going to go for it anyway. Breezy forced to flicker away, and Burmese Ghouls with the immediate collapse. Basic somehow survive with the brilliance. He's trying to go for maybe, but maybe it's gonna be lucky this time. And the Team Gosu on the offense, a bit too far forward. They lose the Lunox.
Yeah, it was a smart call as well, seeing that they do not have the ultimates available here. The only one they actually had here was kind of basic here, but at the same time, Burmese Ghouls, they popped the Zavin Force, couldn't do much here. The snow was there. The rest of the teams could not keep up in time, and they had to disengage. But Team Gosu overextended and gets punished for it here. Turtle buff getting secure from Kid 001, and the Divine Judgment coming in. Very nicely done here, and that's why I'm talking about no 4 available. But if Breezy had that wall charge available, he could have maybe escaped here.
Yeah, just
maybe, but maybe has the Divine Judgment, so maybe
not.
maybe not.
Maybe next
yes.
time. 50-50. But without that wild charge, it's definitely a 0 chance, and here comes Ice. Just a bit of damage on the Kenray, forcing out the last insanity from this X-Borg though. So both teams, a bit of over-aggression early on. That turtle going over to Burmese Ghouls is definitely a plus point. But we see what maybe wants to do again with the Kaja comes in, has a Divine Judgment, but this time Breezy was able to get away. Here comes Gato Kacha though. Ice doesn't want to let this go. A bit of overextension from Burmese Ghouls once again, but they still get the kill on the ground. But now they need to go for the retreat. They lose the Gato Kacha. Team Gosu, they answer with 1.
Yeah, definitely a wolfy trade here, but at the same time, you know, maybe overextend. No, if maybe they don't land those the ring, the punishment ring here, and he could have actually just let him slide off here. Like he would have just lost Gato Gacha without it all the way through. But so nice team there coming from Burmese Ghouls. It was a little bit of overextension, but still they managed to capitalize on it making it towards an equalized score to salvage their mistakes.
I'm still waiting for Polo's Digi to show some effectiveness, but immediate dive from Burmese Ghost to take down the tier 1 bot, forcing General away from his safe zone, and Burmese Ghost were going to start pillaging Team Gosu's jungle. They're only going to find one camp because Team Gosu earlier on has been reaping those resources, but Burmese Ghost with that slight goal lead to almost 2k is going to try and accelerate the game pace.
Yep, Team Gosu now, they are 3k behind Burmese Ghouls this time. They will be on the deficit, and Burmese Ghouls, seems to me, they are not too happy with the game number 1. As they were on the losing edge, on the losing edge on game number 1 from the start of the game, but now they want to scale in terms of economy now.
And Team Gosu, they have shown that they can play from behind against Candy Comeback. Both games they were playing from a really big deficit and still managed to win up, but immediately Kid001 sees the opportunity to go on to General and will go for a solo kill! Harry for the killing spree, and Apollo might be the second victim. Kid, are you really doing it? It seems like he is. Slightly caught out. Wall block, not in the position, but maybe it's there, and the bird will be taken out.
A little bit late here with the time journey. Divine Judgment catches him beforehand, gets disengaged here, and now Ice tanking his way through with the Revitalize, jumps off away. He's gonna be fine. And now Kendra, no last insanity for you. Firaga Armor gets torn out. Burmese Ghouls, they want more. Maybe does he have the Divine Judgment here?
Yeah, maybe just perfect, and of course Polo not quick enough on the trigger finger, gets caught out by the Kaja. Burmese Ghosts, they went from 1 kill to 3 kills in total. Because of that, right now the map is blown wide open. 4k goal lead for the red team.
Yep, 4k goal lead indeed here. Team Gosu, how would they reply this here? Was expecting the Digi to actually do more here. Burmese Ghouls, they have an answer to that, and because of that, they're completely ignoring the power of what Time Journey is going to be doing here. But if one small mistake from Burmese Ghouls here, Team Gosu is going to capitalize this and punish them.
And you always have to keep in mind the threat of this Digi's ultimate, the Time Journey for Team Gosu. And again, we said how important Polo is, and Burmese Ghosts, they're going to go for this immediate dive. The Breeze does come up from the Lunar Freeze, it misses the shot. Here comes Ice, mega kill for the Harif, and Team Gosu forcing an immediate retreat, but Kid001 maybe not done yet. He's stuck within the base, but there's no way that Team Gosu can find him.
Burmese Ghouls, they're showing them who's boss, but now with the Firaga Armor torn up, Kendra, he has that additional range, but he needs the last insanity here for the next team fight. All the outer towers is going to be objective here from the side of Burmese Ghouls. Turtle buff still available, 30 seconds left before the next turtle coming in. This Harem, Kid001, is going to go out of control. 4-0-2, but the tier 2 still stands coming from Team Gosu.
Yeah, and Kid001 playing an amazing Harris so far, showing basic that he can also play that hero. In the previous game, Kid was on the Lunox, didn't really have the best game, but this time it's the role reversal. It's basic on the Lunox, 1, 2, and 1. Meanwhile, Kid is 4, 0, and 2. Burmese Ghouls, they are 7k ahead of Team Gosu.
Yep, the tier 2 is up. Kid001, he's just lost the turtle buff. What is he thinking? He zips in, dashes out, and he's gonna be fine. Here comes the rewind as well, but unfortunately to say, Kid001 is a little bit too tacky. The turtle buff is gonna be the objective here, and A007 this time, he will be the one carrying the turtle buff just because his brand new Scarlet Phantom is available. So he's gonna crit like a truck.
And maybe Team Gosu are gonna bow out of this tournament without landing a single blow on Burmese Ghouls. Because the fight isn't over yet. You're still looking at Polo to make that miracle save, to make that miracle play for the team. Team Gosu, we've seen them play from behind. We know that they can play from behind. Burmese Ghouls are going to make it a bit hard for them because of all the pressures in all this lane. 90 seconds till the next floor. Burmese Ghouls, they're just going to wait patiently and get that objective when it comes up.
Yup, they need the buff out of Kid001 here. They push out the lanes here from side of Burmese Ghouls, and Team Gosu, they have to find a way to break through this formation. And now with the turtle buff, with the buffs as also stolen away from Team Gosu, without buffs here, I'm not sure how they're gonna fight this, but they have to play this extremely smart, because right now Burmese Ghouls, they have a Queen's Wing up on Panda as well.
And this is the most excruciating experience that any team can go through, being suffocated within your own base. No resources from the mid waves, no resources in the jungle. They can't even step out. Burmese Ghouls are just gonna have a picnic on the Celestial Palace. Now they're gonna go for their first siege on that high ground. We see Team Ghost who can hold this. Breezy needs to make something happen as Eyesight jumps right in. Breezy immediately call out, cannot find the engage. Here comes the time journey to get the shutdown they have, and Team Ghost, they might be able to hold it. Gato Kaja has to get out. Ice retreats completely. Kaja though, Divine Judgment, he finds the Claw. The Claw is now down. Jawhead though, Panda also sent back to the zoo for this one, so Team Ghost, they're still able to hold on, but they've got a quick taunt. A double kill for the Bruno. A007, can he really do this? Triple kill. It's against the Maniac, and he's gonna go with Breezy. No, Breezy does get out, but Broomies Ghost, have they find that goal that Team Ghost has been desperately trying to keep away from them?
Nicely done there, coming from 007. If you think about it, that's the power of the Turtle Bomb. The Scarlet Phantom, he hit like a truck. I like how this went down here. The Blazing Duet coming from Gosu was doing so much damage, but the nice clutch Divine Judgment from Maybe took him down, allowed A007 to do all so much damage. The Maybe Skaja, the Divine Judgment, forced everyone from inside Team Gosu to commit out of their base just because they had to save General in that regards, and because of that movement right there from Maybe, Gosu was out of the position. That is where Ace007 took full use of the buff and just destroyed everyone from inside Team Gosu.
An excellent target selection as well. He had General in his eyes, he had Basic in his eyes, but he went for Polo. He knows that if he kills out this Diggy, Team Gosu have nothing left. I don't think it's A007. This guy is Ace 4, 0, and 3 right now. He's the James Bond of Burmese Ghosts, and he's gonna take them all the way with their Lord to that clean 6-0 slate.
But it's not over yet here because Gosu Kenry just got his Queen's Wing. This X-Brock is slowly but surely going to be one of the tankiest hero in this game in terms of sustainability. But you can see this Burmese Ghost, they want to slow poke this game. Wait for the Lord. The Lord is going to be pushing from the top side of the lane. Burmese Ghost, how are they doing here? With the Trunket up onto the Sakaja now. They need a nice Divine Judgment. Look at this Salmon Force being popped up.
Team Gosu, they need to do the impossible right now. Kid jumps right in and maybe a big call out. Does not get the Divine Judgment off. So Team Gosu still survive on this. But Basic is call out. The last insanity is an insane move from Team Gosu, but not in a good way. A General also call out as well. A007, James Bond, triple kill, and Burmese Ghost looking for the 9-0 point. The clean sweep. Breezy is not going to escape this. The second Maniac and A007 close things out. Burmese Ghost 6-0, 9 points in Group B.
Undefeated, they will be in the upper brackets in the playoff. Burmese Ghost showing you who's boss. Myanmar Mobile Legends, definitely one of the teams you gotta be watching out for, but convincing stuff coming in from them. But still, in that final fight there, we saw the last insanity coming in from Xbox. Instantly gets destroyed just because of one lucky crit coming from A007, and because of that, Firaga armor instantly popped off, could not do anything.
Yep, Burmese Goose, Burmese go right straight into that winners bracket in the playoffs, as you mentioned. 9 points, 2-0, undefeated in Group B. We came in thinking that maybe today is the neutral group. Everyone has a 50% chance, but no, Burmese Goose, 100% for them.
Yeah, Kendry, I feel bad, but at the same time, great stuff here coming from Burmese School here. The composition was great, the teamwork was fantastic, it was phenomenal. Ace 007, 804. Whew, 2-1, 2 Medex in a row in the final leg. He was 004 for the best of time, taking the first ever turtle buff. Bam, 404. Bam, 4804. What is wrong with this guy? This guy is a maniac.
Yeah, it's definitely a maniac. I think this guy is the MVP, deservingly the MVP for Burmese Ghouls. The rest of the team backed him up. And again, the target selection from this Bruno, people don't use this function often, but he basically utilized the entire HUD to his maximum efficiency. You could have hit the Lunox instead of the Diggy if you normally attack, but he selected the Diggy, killed off that support that Team Ghost was desperately needed, and he won out. You can look at all this beginning. In Game 1, Team Ghost had the lead, but in Game 2, Burmese Ghouls, they put their hand on Team Ghost's neck and they never let go.
Yep, definitely here. And Burmese, well, speaking of letting go as well, yeah, the Divine Judgment maybe here. The time journey was a little bit off, because if the Divine Judgment landed after of the time journey, yes, he's not going to be able to call off. But because it came before the time journey, he caught him off, he was pretty much down for the count.
Yeah, and also Gato Kacha, Ice just perfect patience. You can look at all this push. They get the divine judgment. Judgment is always on the core, and because of how scary Burmese School are with their composition, this Maniac from A007 solidify Burmese School's performance. And Gosu, again, same mistake. The front line was not able to withstand all the damage. Really was out of the fight before it even began, and it just gave the the easiest initiation for Burmese School. The last Maniac to close it off, A007. He's gonna claim it for himself.
Yeah, very nicely done here. The final Maniac as well. I have no idea how he does it here, but you see Breezy just instantly get shredded from the critical. The Phantom, the Scarlet Phantom immediately came coming out here. That was the timing for the Bruno, and my oh my, I did not expect this marksman to come back into the meta. We saw it pick occasionally here. I saw it, did not actually do so well. But now into his M1 World Championship here, we see so many teams now prioritizing Bruno, even Burmese Ghouls now. And it surprised me.
Yeah, and yesterday it was the Carry Granger show.
Oh yeah.
Today it was the Granger Bruno show, and I think Bruno is definitely the new striker that everyone in all the other groups, even Group A, has to look out for. Burmese Ghouls, they're setting their own game. They're making this meta theirs. And if you are teams like RRQ, the favorites, you must be thinking to yourself, we have a new contender.
Yeah, definitely here. Myanmar, from Myanmar, and we've always heard rumors of how Myanmar teams are really, really strong. And this is why Burmese Ghouls are here to win it. They're in the upper brackets now, in the playoffs. And honestly speaking, it was rumors in my pub games, it was rumors around here and there. Maybe we've seen them in MSC as well. They did fantastically well. But now, they're back in action. They're here to show you who is going to be playing one of the best mobile legends in the world. But as of now, let's take a look at the interviews and what Burmese Ghouls have to say.
Thanks guys at the casters table. My name is Ian Q, and here with me is Panda from Burmese Ghouls after a very convincing victory as well. How do you guys feel moving up into the upper brackets of the tournament?
We feel so proud and so great. Yeah.
And I mean, how has your team really prepared for this tournament to get you to like the level that you guys are at now?
Actually, we train a lot, we practice a lot, but let me tell you something that is not our main roster. Yeah, actually I'm a coach and I'm playing as a substitute.
Well, you're absolutely crushing it even though you are a coach. But I think the most important thing is what do you guys have to say to your fans back at home cheering on for you guys as you are representing an entire country here on your backs?
Just continue supporting us and doing like we will do our best in this stage, on mid stage I mean, yeah.
Alright, great words. Thank you so much. Hear me at the interview, but we're going to have to throw it back to the caster's table. Thank you very much. Let's get in.
The coach himself, he says, the general himself steps onto the battlefield and just absolutely crushed it. Like, you were mind-boggled when he said, guys, guess what? I'm the coach. I mean, I coach my team and I smashed my enemies with my team as well. Absolute silence. Yeah, he's just mind-boggled. But just amazing from Burmese Ghouls. They are not called Burmese Ghouls for no reason though. They are ferocious, and I think they came here for they started with a feast 2-0 on Axis Esports. They got a picnic against Candy Comeback, and the last one is just a home run for Burmese Ghouls.
Well, Husky, honestly speaking here, it's not just a picnic here. They are our worst nightmare.
This is a buffet.
That, honestly speaking here, that was it's gonna be a traumatizing experience for many people because why? I don't need my main roster to win this.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring my coach in.
It's like a psychological warfare right here. I'm like, dude, it makes me feel like, yeah, I know I'm pretty okay, but if I played with them and I lost, I get it, they're good.
Yeah,
but I lost to a team who's handicapped themselves, in a way.
Yeah, you thought you figured out their meta. Guess what? There's still a lot of mysteries surrounding Burmese Ghouls, but with that being said, Team Gosu and Burmese Ghouls have played their final series. We're going to go for a short break, and when we come back, it will be the final series of Group B between Axis Esports and Candy Comeback. Do not go anywhere.
can say all they want. We'll prove it to them. We'll be the champions. Mobile Legends Bang Bang World Championship 2019. M1.
You may have been denied. You may have hit rock bottom. You may have been craving for the lights. Now, all strive for one goal.
Taking that life of the Akayas where their victims the jump on the Esperanza.
Put your hands together for the champion.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion worthy of the highest glory? been denied. You may have hit rock bottom. You may have been craving for the light. Now, all strive for one goal.
Taking that life of the Akayas where their kingdoms are dominant and Emerald.
Put your hands together for the champion.
Do you have what it takes to be a champion worthy of the highest glory?
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the M1 Mobile Legends Bang Bang World Championship. My name's Contra, and here alongside with me is Fatal 5, also known as Gideon Q. And now we're down to our very final series of the Group B, where we've already seen a dominant performance from Burmese Gold. They are in the lead, and they are definitely qualifying themselves and towards the next phase. But now we're looking at Axis Esports versus the likes of Candy Comeback.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, Burmese Gold has definitely showed that they're a class above, and Axis Esports even dropping games to them. So now it's kind of on Axis to get them hit themselves out of this rut where if they don't win 2-0 against Candy Comeback, or at least win a game against Candy Comeback, they won't be able to make it out of the groups, and it's going to go into a 3-way tiebreaker, which nobody really wants to deal with, especially if you're in Axis's position.
That's right, and I'm seeing that all these players, some of them are looking worn out already. They just want to get this over and done with. And speaking of that, we're headed in towards our very first phase of picks and bans, starting off with a Kimi ban taken off right off the bat. So I'm looking at this right here. Of course, every now and then we do see that Kimi being axed away. So
yeah.
What do you feel about this? And can he come back? Of course, today we've seen our first ever Nana pick in the World Championship.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Toxic
where, yeah, I don't want to be real toxic here, but I don't think it works out too well. I do think there are certain places and times for it, but that's like very niche situations. Kimi, on the other hand, pretty much 100% pick ban at this point. Like, no one really wants to deal with it, and nobody kind of wants to give it over as well. Great mid game, great early game. So far, we haven't seen games like drag on really, really late in this group. Usually it ends around, you know, the 8th, 9th minute where it's pretty determined or straightforward who is going to take the game.
And we're also seeing Kufra as well being that sort of a really sought after pick, but
yes,
throughout the entirety of day 1 as well as day 2, we're not really seeing Kufra really come into action. Well, there was a couple of those games with Kufra coming into play, but then again, you know, when you allow that to happen, that's pretty much some great advantages given to it's the team that will be able to actually get that sort of a solid pick. Now, of course, Candy Comeback. The only way that they could still find the light of day is to get themselves that 2-0 victory, and to them, they are still hanging by this really team threat. And of course, they're gonna starting off with that high loss pick.
Yep, strong pick overall. I think nobody can kind of doubt that at this point. It's kind of going to give Axis a little bit of an edge here. They're going to go for their double pick here. Most likely going to be the Grok. What they're going to pair it up with is a better question.
Now, speaking of a pairing right here, of course, we got really great mages like Esmeralda, who still gets picked from time to time, but early phase Esmeralda is not really the best of options, but Lunox seems to be that go-to option for Rin of Axis Esports.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, Rin has been performing decently well on it. Maybe not so much early this morning, but, you know, hey, once they got the warm-up going, it's like, all right, let's really take this seriously. You can see that he is a lot better player once he has that warm-up in check. However, Harith is being given over to Candy Comeback. Whether or not they, you know, took that into consideration, not too sure, because still, Esmeralda is on the table as well. A lot of S-tier mages, Lucian as well. I mean, so why do they want to specifically go for the Lunox in this particular situation? Are they looking to maybe pick up a mid-sitar?
Well, perhaps so, because they were looking at the Howard being picked up here, and that's definitely one great option on the table where Axis Esports have been playing a couple of mid-sitar games before, so they could definitely opt to do the same. And And Bruno, of course, being brought into the picture throughout today is definitely one of that very reliable marksman on the table. So maybe this might just force Axis to actually go in for a marksman pick as well. Well, we're looking at things like Claw, things like the Granger, and time again, carries been brought out. So Axis will reply with that Granger.
Yeah, I do enjoy the Granger pick here. Great engage, great ways to kind of just dash out of awkward positions. The Rondo is so useful, and the Death Sonata is so effective. But we're going to move on to just getting rid of like either support tanks or fighters at this point, because both sides are still lacking one support or tank. Oh, and more importantly, who is going to be their side laner? And Masha is still kind of on the table.
Masha definitely will be a great fit for either side, but we're looking at scalability right now because Candy Comeback seems to me that they do need a lot of time to actually get themselves ready for that sort of a mid to late game phase. And of course, early picks off will possibly give them some great edge. And I'm not really seeing all too much of that for the lineup for now, but they're opting to go for that Valor Band, which means only one more left for Axis to choose from. So perhaps they might even X a couple of all these major sort of tanks coming to play as well.
Yeah, and coming in for a Candy Comeback, they ban out the Valir, deciding, you know, we don't want to deal with the Valir support that kind of roams around, is just super annoying, and keeps Harith at bay. It's like every time you chrono dash in, he just pushes you back, and every single time he does that, and if he gets the empowered and stuns you, that could end up getting yourself killed.
And that's definitely one great point to factor in as well. And Lolita hasn't played throughout the rest of the day, and now we're going in for that Franco pickup once again, that cheese pick that we saw earlier on. After that set against Burmese Gold, they managed to take down Team Gosu with the Franco coming in. So they're trying to pull off the same sort of style against the Laos team. And now we're looking at Boxia being brought in, and Rex Wiggum Keon the other day has shown how to play a solid Boxia, and hopefully on the side of CC they will be able to actually get this Boxia running across the map and cause so much of that nuisance.
Yeah, interesting why they decided to pick Boxia now rather than later, or at least, you know, to kind of deny the counter pick. But, I mean, they already saw the Franco, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting. The Cho, on the other hand, that's a pretty interesting pick in itself because they waited until the very end to finally pick him up. Like, he's not going to be in that support position. He's definitely going to be in the fighter top side. And right now, Axis Esports has to kind of decide, like, oh no, we can't really deal with the Cho, especially if he's a fighter. With the number of fighters you have, it's really limited.
Yeah, and I'm really looking at Axis here, having a really deep discussion with their coach right there, and they're really playing things out. How are they supposed to complete this lineup? Well, I do believe that they could definitely fit one more fighter in, and it will definitely be that Masha for that very final pickup. So for the side of CC, they had their chances to actually secure that Masha, but they opt not to do so. That's pretty interesting to me. But what I do like for the fact that with that Chow coming into the picture as well as Boxia, which means that Franco needs to be a little bit more careful on who he's got to hook right in towards the team. So now all these stuff are locked right in, and we're ready to get ourselves into Game 1.
Yeah, and looking at Axis Esports in comparison to Candy Comeback's composition, I think what Cho brings to the table is really frustrating because then he puts a lot of kill potential onto Masha, and I think that's what Axis Esports kind of hesitated to lock in the Masha. We can see that their earlier 4 picks are really strong together, has some great siege potential. Franco, the moment they start sieging a turret, if anyone walks up, you're in range of actually dying, or at least getting hit by a Death Sonata, which may result in you getting iron hooked, which may result in you just instantly getting shot down. So it's like it's one after
layers
the other.
and layers and layers.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of that happen before. There was so many of those sort of hook and flicker to actually get itself that extended range. And
exactly.
Imagine if there were to be, you know, if they were to follow like Copernicus goal after that sort of hook coming from Franco. Imagine there's also a giant to pull it all the way back with the ejector. That will be some really great distance being traveled unwillingly by whoever gets hooked up.
Can we get a counter? Can we get a counter if ever, like the longest hook we can get, the longest chain CC timer? Just let it roll.
Oh,
let it roll.
Well, that will definitely really be fun to watch, but what's even more fun is that we're going in towards our very final series right here of this best of 3 between Candy Comeback versus Axis Esports. Now, of course, we've seen so many of all these players pit each other against.
So dirty.
Well, we've already seen that sort of perfect wave clear coming from the side of CC. Already getting in towards the very first camp for Norse and Mister.
I mean, check this out. Lassid decides to hide in the brush and wait for the moment to give over the buff. He barely loses his entire health bar, and now he walks up, he loses 2 minions. That's A-okay, but the buff is secured so quickly, it kind of denies a lot of EXP to their top side. And look at Bruno, he's only hit level 2, he should be nearing 3 at this point.
Well, that's definitely food for thought. Well, he definitely could have made a better option heading into this, but then again, look at Evil X, he's still level 1, which is, well, of course, pretty far, but look at Scotto, all alone over on the bomb side, will be joined by the Granger as well. So great rotations starting off from the side of Axis Esports, and that's definitely that redemption code for you guys back at home to claim some freebies. So what's in the box? It's for you to find out.
Yeah, get it while you still can, because these go, I mean, there's so many codes to be given away over the next couple of days, so stick around and watch some more if you want to be able to get some free prizes. But more importantly, I think you should check out the Granger, who's just having the time of his life with Franco just being his bodyguard in the river, like, oh, if you're going to rotate, like, we will know.
Oh, wow, definitely that's something to look out for. Now, double rejuvenation for the side of Candy Comeback for their frontliners, Toms as well as North. So I'm really hoping to see them really outlast these enemies in those team fights. Well, I'm not too sure how are they supposed to approach this, as Norse dives in towards the jungle, but they don't really want to overextend at this point because there's not too much of that objective harder than the turtle, and we're going to see a little bit of that team fight coming out, and that will be a hook over to Toms.
Toms has already popped the rejuvenation. He hits level 4, but he might be going down here. He instantly dies. The rejuvenation wasn't in time. The rest of the team in the back line is already trying to take them out. North tries to pick up Evil X. Evil X does go down over to Bistler. Now Bistler needs to make something happen here. He's trying to buy a little bit of time. Gonna dash just over the wall, but the rest of the team is not gonna let him go without a fight. Lassid taking so much damage, but it ain't gonna be enough as Scott locks the last member down. Mister finally dies to that bloody hunt.
Wow, there's so many of these kills happening in the blink of an eye. Although Candy Comeback managed to secure that turtle, look at that overcommitment coming from CC. They dive over on the Evil X, but that flicker gave him a little bit of safety net for a while, and the rest of Axis Esports, they just march right in and punishes them for that overstep. Now, of course, that's definitely not worth it because they walk with 4 kills in total after that skirmish happening on that turtle.
I mean, even though they did, you know, kind of throw their bodies at him, it allowed Conan a little bit of space to actually break that bottom side. Well, Tom's having to pop that glorious pathway to keep himself alive and a way to escape, but the rest of the team kind of has to respond because now Cho is going to be split pushing for the most part, knowing that his team is behind. He needs to pull pressure towards himself.
Well, I'm not too sure whether that righteous pathway would be pretty much be put into great effect, but he could have just walked out of that alive if we just fall back into that brush. Well, speaking of the brush here, Rin as well as Ibulex are implying something else, and Norse will be diving head first. And where the rest of Candy come at, they don't really want to actually fully commit to that, so they're going to be playing a little bit more passively as the next turtle will be spawning out on the lower side of the river.
Yeah, they've done a really good, not really an interesting, but a very smart lane swap here, sending Conan to the top side because, again, there's nothing much for him to do. If he tries to push up to tier 2, it might cost him his life, so allows his bot lane he allows his marksman to kind of farm up down to that bot side with the safety of the turn. While he goes top, and it's like, you know what, I might be able to get another top tier 1 if a fight breaks out.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that they're giving a little bit more attention towards the mid as well as top, because there's no point finding a Masha to be able to Masha here. Toms is getting chunked out as well, but here comes North joining the picture, and Evil X a little bit off of position, but that flicker is going to be popped out. Well, this is going to be Rin already on that watch, trying to actually secure this turtle, and they will try to snatch this one away. Evil X on the forefront. Will they be able to connect? And it will be Candy Comeback with the second turtle in hand.
Yep, and they're trying to make something happen, but Bister, even though he got hit by all the abilities, still survives. Evil X makes it out of there with that wall charge. Rin taking quite a bit of damage here, forces the flicker. Yeah, Bloody Hunt isn't there, and Tom's popping the rejuvenation really, really quickly, making sure he survives. Even though he's taking a lot of damage, Rin goes down, and now look, finally able to join the combat here. They don't have enough minions. Lassen is already in there. Masha comes in, and she gets the initial kill while the rest of the team pulls all backwards. Bister is still alive. The Salmon Force popped, but he chrono dashes away. Conan trying to make something work, but again, Lassen survives, able to kite it out.
I just felt like that dive was so unnecessary, and every one of these members of Candy Comeback kind of committed to that. Now, from that 4-kill gap, it's headed towards 8-2. A little bit of that sort of rewind for you guys to miss out some of these action. Brought to you by Mlbb. Now, they of course overcommitted, no minutes at all, which means that Lasting can dive right back in to punish Toms for that overextension, and of course, that will be it for now. But CC slowly falling back, and their levels are not really all too great either. Well, of course, pretty decent if you really want to compare it to all these members of Axis Esports, but wow, of that sort of a team fight, we're seeing about 3k gold in the span of that few minutes of time.
Yep, and again, look lads, Toms is in trouble. He's so much damage, but oh, I thought he was going to make it out of there, but is it going to be enough to keep him after using the Rejuvenate so many times? It's still on cooldown. They're still pushing forward. Can they get another Iron Hook? Long charge is already built up by Evil X. The rest of the team is peeling backwards, and Granger isn't going to let anybody go without a fight. He's going to keep on shooting for the Iron Hook. Does miss from Scott. Rin needs one more hit. Rejuvenation has already been popped. Mister takes a little bit of damage, but not enough to finish him off. Oh my, hello there, Conan. Gets locked down by the Bloody Hunt. Kicks him away with the Way of the Dragon. Gets hit with a full wrap. Ooh.
Well, I believe that was a huge miscommunication over on the other side of Conan, because every one of these members are already low, and he chose to actually cut in for the flank, but fight's already over before it's been begun, and Axis Esports now could also opt to actually push all these sort of the waves back towards the side of Candy Comeback and set up for, which will come out about 100 seconds from now. And look at the items. Of course, you have the Calamity Cypher already being purchased from the side of Harif, Blade of Despair for the Ranger as well. So all these big items are coming out, and oh, that's a great hook over on Norse, and this is definitely one great pickup, all thanks to Scott.
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue to deal with for Candy Comeback, because they're getting picked off way too often, but Scott's not letting them have a good time either. Tom's pops the Glorious Pathway, trying to make something happen here, but I don't think it's going to work. I think Evil X, Scott should have his Iron Hook up relatively soon, but he doesn't want to get on a target like Tom's. He wants to pick up Conan. He wants to pick up Ton MVP. Like, he wants to get the bigger hitters from Candy Comeback side.
Well, I definitely would say that Candy Comeback could still actually look for that late game sharing, but Toms keep getting pressurized and caught out. They should not even get anywhere close to that junction, and Norris here, of course, arriving here, having nothing to do at all, just to farm a little bit more as he can, but Candy Comeback doesn't seem to be able to actually respond well, because even if you really want to focus on members of Axis Esports, you got so many frontliners like Evil X, like Scott, or even members like Lasset, who is technically in kill build by now.
Yeah, again, another Bloody Hunt has popped onto Boxia. Like, there's nothing they can do right now, because both Lung and Rin are gigantic in this game. And not to mention that Lassa, he already has the Windtalker and Demon Hunter Sword. He's basically unstoppable if he's left to his own accord. And that's why two people on the top side just have to make sure they clear the wave so that Masha doesn't get the push. And this is putting Candy Comeback, between a rock and a hard place. It's either you go to the bot side and try not to get hooked by this Scott's Franco. Iron Hook lands again!
Oh no, mega kill going in the hands of Low, and they're looking for the double for him as well. Axis Esports now have a free at that Lord underway, and Axis, they say they might not even need this one. And now Norris diving all the way back, that hook almost connects, and every one of these members are really worried of getting pulled back by the side of Scott, as he's already getting 10 assists just by landing those hooks.
Exactly, and look, just with one crescendo is chunking people to half their HP, and I think that's already a big statement in itself, that their carries are just so well farmed. They're just gonna sit into the bush, play brush, guerrilla warfare, and brush tactics. If anybody walks up, just hook them, kill them, make sure that they don't have any breathing room outside of their base.
That's right, and I'm looking at the goal charts as well. Like, this is one of those games with 10k deficit, and I feel like Candy comeback. I'm not sure if we're gonna have that sort of a name at the back though. Like, you can be Candy, but comeback at this point in time, pretty much hard to do.
Yeah, and Lauren is already knocking onto Death's door here. Inhibitors going down like it's nothing. I mean, with Lawson, he just chunks it out so quickly with just a couple of abilities. And Candy Comeback just kind of can't really do too much here as well. Getting locked down too far. The rest of the team doesn't want to help him out. Toms again, the tanks are getting punished again and again and again. The carries are not willing to follow up.
Oh no, to Con MVP, almost falling flat as well. Now here comes his Allen Force coming out, and they're trying to break down Lone. That's going to be a shutdown coming in, and Lasted trying to actually take down the Harif, and he'll be able to connect, and it's only down to Ton MVP, and Axis Esports wants to go in for the wipeout before going for the style points finisher, and this will be the first point given over on the side of Axis Esports.
Definitely a huge confidence booster for Axis Esports after, you know, a very poor playing in earlier this morning, now slowly coming back, getting these 2-0s, and I think with one more 2-0, that's going to secure them. I mean, they've already secured their spot into the playoffs at this point. It's just, you know, just a little bit more to, you know, add up to your KDA.
That is pretty much true, and imagine this, like, if Candy Comeback does pull off a heist and come out with a 2-1 reverse sweep, then maybe they might be putting on that back foot as well. But
That's
then again,
true.
I would say that they're still qualified because they did defeat TOSU. Now, back to the stats we go. Mister, of course, tried his best, got some really high damage output, 52% for the side of Candy Comebacks, but that proves to be not enough for the side of Candy Comebacks to defeat Axis Esports. As you see, Axis having Scott, Rin, as well as Lung with those high KDAs for really great reasons. And now let's hit into the highlights of the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, so far this entire game was just a real struggle for Candy Comeback because it's not like they weren't playing on tempo. It's just some of the executions and some of the decision makings were a bit
sloppy.
I wouldn't say sloppy, just not right. Like, going into this fight here, why was the dive onto the backline so prominent? Like, what was the objective of this? If your objective was to allow space for Cho to actually break the bottom side, then why not just play it a lot slower? They instantly 1-0, 1-100 went to the backline, tried to make it happen. This dive here, same thing. You saw what was going on, but they responded so late to it. They got the initial kill. They should just back off. They had only one minion, and they weren't looking at the map. Lung was already missing at that point of time.
That's right, and they actually further commit all four members in towards that dive for no apparently good reason at all. And this is where Axis Esports further extend the lead as well, catching up Conan time and time again. Baxia, no problem as well. So Scott just doing his best to actually get as much points for his team, and of course with that, all these tanks were negated, useless by the time that they hit in towards the late phase. So Axis Esports have a lot of great entry points here. They could just freely go to the jungle. It doesn't matter how many members are left from the side of Candy Comeback. All they know is they could definitely fight till the finish line.
And see, I honestly, I don't think Candy Comeback is bad. Honestly, I don't think they are bad. I just think they are very inexperienced with, you know, certain heroes, and also kind of how to play from behind, because a lot of the time this could be avoided if they don't decide to go through the most optimal way through the jungle, where yes, it is the fastest way, but it's also some of the most dangerous pathways because there are so many brushes, and with the length of the iron hook, they have to always keep that in mind, that they have to stay away from certain bushes, certain angles, if they don't want to get snagged away.
And snack away is the sort of situation that they have facing off in game number 1. So in game 2, they definitely need to change things up, and perhaps picking a thing like a Grok, having a little bit more immunity would possibly give them a little bit of that chance, since they're going to be having that sort of opportunity heading in towards that red side. If the side of Axis Esports does not prioritize that growth if it doesn't get banned anyways.
Yeah, agreed. I definitely agree. I think more importantly, they need something that's a little bit more forgiving to play, and they might want to consider getting rid of Franco because we've seen Axis play time and time again with the Franco. It's very oppressive once they get the lead, but once if you are able to kind of go even, go towards the late game, then he's just a CC bot, and most of the time, it's easier to kind of play around the hook more than having they have a way of engage. Most of the time they don't. They're just so dependent on that hook, so you can play around it.
That's right, and there's also many ways that you can build items to counter it, or even change your spells to actually negate that sort of crowd control upon you. Now, heading in towards the second game of this series, we're seeing Kimi as well as Kaya. Well, nothing much too unfamiliar when it comes to the first phase of picks and bans, but of course, Axis Esports here. Starting off, I wonder what will be their party. Maybe they might want to land their hands on Export because they haven't been really playing all too much of it anyways, heading in towards this Group B.
Definitely agreed. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to let Export through, to be perfectly honest. I think everyone still kind of fears him because he can be flexed into that fighter and support role. You're not too sure where he's going to be, but he still provides a lot of damage, a lot of support, and he has a great way of escape with the Firaga armor.
Which is why they also banned it away, so all the hype from us went into vain, but it's alright, we're pretty used to it by this point of time. But of course, now CC's turn to actually take things off, and well, of course, handsome looking faces coming from the Laos side, and can he come back here? They need to prove themselves. They need to at least take a point away from Axis Esports because all the support, all the fans back in Laos are cheering them on and they want to put on their best form. But Axis Esports here, after that first game against Burmese Gold, they of course were upset with that sort of performance. But when they fought Team Ghost here, suddenly things have definitely turned for the better, and they have never really lost that form from that point onwards.
Yep, and I think, well, that's true. That's definitely true. But honestly, I don't really know what to say here because Can They Come Back? I think they just need a little bit more experience. If they had more time, before the M1 to kind of scrim a lot of these other teams, I think they could have been an even better team than they are now. It's just you can't really tell where their ceiling is, and I think that's what's really great about these guys. And on top of the fact that they have a great positive mentality towards this, I mean, you have to commend them for that.
That's right, and we're seeing a couple of giggles and smiles as well. Maybe it's because they managed to secure that Krufa that they've been eyeing out for. But there's still one more pick left for Ton MVP to actually pick up, and that'll be Teresa. Well, we haven't seen Teresa in a while. Of course, there's a little bit of that sort of above nerves and hits and misses every now and then. But of course, Teresa is still very reliable coming into those team fights, and that huge element in between, that's going to be something that is game-changing.
Yeah, it's not a bloody hunt, it's not an iron hook, but I think, if you need a grok of some sort, Teresa kind of fits that role. However, I mean, he's easy to play around, and that's why a lot of teams tend to avoid him. But Valir, as well as the Ludox being picked, again, three really, really strong picks coming in from Axis Esports. Their team composition that, they do want to fight. They do want people to engage on them. They're just going to sit back and wait it out.
That's right, and we're seeing some really great drafts coming from the side of Candy Comeback. In a sense, this is like a dream lineup for many, but same goes to Axis Esports, who managed to secure that value. We talk about that sort of burst, and combined with Lunox, who's so slippery with that Order of Chaos as well as Brilliant. That's definitely gonna pack a punch. But looking at the side of Candy Comebacks here, of course, Terizla as well as the Harif will be that sort of core end. We're seeing whether or not can Kufra be playing into its great effect, where we talk about Tyrant's Rage and the bouncing ball being so disruptive, and I think that he definitely will be able to reach great lengths to actually catch out that Valir. But it's about that follow-up that comes right after.
Truly, it really is about the follow-up. Like, he can set it up for like a good 2 to 3 seconds, but after that, if nobody follows up, he's kind of on his own. And coming with the bans, Leomort as well as the Masha, all right, fair enough, it's understandable. Get rid of a super safe pick and get rid of, you know, a split pusher. This might revert Axis to, you know, maybe even picking up a Hayabusa, or maybe a Hayabusa for Candy Come Back if they wanted to.
Definitely a lot of options right outside of their minds for the time being. Of course, a lot of discussions being pulled through, but, you know, not too much of a fan of that Leomort ban though. Like, there's still things like Akai, which is also pretty safe, but then again, Leomort skills pretty well, especially if he gets any sort of that lead. But wow, Aldous! Now, they're definitely doubling things up with this sort of pickup here. And,
Yep.
you know, let's talk about Aldous for a little bit. There's also the special skin for M1 as well for Aldous, so maybe he might want to bring that up in a bit. But then again, Aldous takes a lot of time to actually skill into getting that sort of assassin pick. And I think that the reason why they go for this is to also lock against Bruno or even that Valley that we just talked about.
Yeah, I think it's one way to deal with him. I don't think it's the best way because Valir, he does have 2 charges and he has to be very, very careful towards the mid game when, you know, Aldous starts really ramping up to that 1k damage, and then once he gets into the later game, that 2k damage, like, you have to be so careful. But Axis Esports, on the other hand, they're locking in the Bruno as well as the Cho, and Cho is going to be most likely their fighter pick this time round. And it's interesting because at least he's going to be he's strong enough to oppress the Aldius. The better question is whether is Aldius going to have someone to babysit him? Most likely yes, but we're just going to have to wait and see, especially if they lock in that Gushing here from Candy Come Back.
Well, I feel like they're just going in for this really risky composition where they really just want to burst out any sort of targets that they see right in front of them and just fall back. But we see that sort of a movements coming from across the map for Candy Come Back, which I feel like their positioning would be a little bit off. But if they can fix that in this game, then perhaps if they can get a couple more of that sort of great pickoffs, they might be able to get a really huge lead. And looking at that, we're having 2 revitalized for inside of Candy Comebacks. 1 arrival for Rin as well, swaps back in towards the Flicker, and now let's get this show underway.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting game here because once you have a double mage composition, you're hoping to like really get a huge advantage off of your level 4, and I think that's where the discrepancy is going to come, because everywhere across the map you're expecting, your tanks take roam items and you're hoping to get to 4 as quickly as possible, and one lane is not going to get that support, so he's going to be, you know, level 3, level 2. You're not going to all hit level 4 at the same time. I think that's where the question of how much gold can you really distribute amongst these 3 very item-hungry heroes?
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be that sort of power struggle. Hey, I should take this camp. Hey, I should take this midden farm. And if you were set back by members of Axis, that is going to be a bigger issue, and some of these members will definitely get starved out. But speaking of that, we're going to find out more in the second game of the series, as we'll see Axis Esports trying to snatch up a total of 3 points, or can Candy come back make sure that they get at least 1 more point on the table and hit themselves into game 3.
Yeah, and we can see that the lane assignments are very obvious here. Oh, Lassen already going in for a big chunk out of Norse. He already has to pop the rejuvenation as quickly as possible. Oh, 1 more hit until he goes down, and yes, he does. Evil X, and people tell me, Grok's Grok's power of nature. Ooh, it's been nerfed so hard. No, it deals a lot of damage.
Well, it doesn't really matter with the nerf, because that sort of nerf gave him a little bit of balance with 100 more damage output right out there. It's only about the cooldown, so does it even really matter if it's just a couple of seconds left? And now, speaking of Evil X, they're getting Tom stuck by the corners of the wall, and 1 more kill going in the hands of Axis.
Yeah, and Axis, they've got a really early centric composition. Lung, Lassen, both so strong at level 1, not to mention when you have Scott, Evil X, like, okay, sure, Rin, not the most dominant. It's not like a Lilia, but she can sustain through everything. Lunox, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then she could just freely roam and look at that redemption code right up there. Of course, the juicy as it gets, and we're seeing one tower for the side of Axis Esports. But looking at Toms, he's trying to stop this, but this is way too much for him to handle.
Yeah, it's just so much pressure, so much early game damage from the side of Axis Esports. They're just not letting them play the game. And can they come back? They're like, okay, we need to make something happen. They quickly steal the buff from Axis Esports' side, and I think he just got spotted out there by the Cho. They know that he's in the top side. If they force a fight, they might actually win this, but it looks like they're just going to completely avoid it.
Yes, indeed. And we're seeing Axis Esports first getting this sort of a huge 3-kill lead, but from the side of CC, they're already locking their eyes upon that turtle, and could they possibly even steal this one away? Coming in, oh my goodness me! Now they're committing to this fight.
Yep, and they want to keep on going. The rejuvenation already popped. Rin trying to make it happen. The chaos assault, but again, Terizla is taking quite a bit of the damage. The body of the Smith a little too strong. Lasset gets away to the dragon, instantly kills that Gushon, but Terizla takes out Rin.
Now Scott as well as Rin finally received their first steps of the game, and now Norse will be caught out as well. Lasset will steal the kill, and now it's down to that 1v1 between Toms as well as Lasset. Now, of course, they're both pretty much having pretty great chunks of health left, and there's no point committing towards the Kufar as well. But wow, let's have a look in towards the T5 Bottom River once again, as we see the first couple of kills, of course, headed towards the side of CC. But look at this go. Like, with the dragon as well as the Grok just running at you with the wall charge, there's no escape whatsoever. Yeah, and Axis was doing great.
And just look here, the lower you get to Rizla, if he lands that revenge strike, it's going to deal so much more because it does missing percent health damage. So he's basically going to execute you in a sense. He just walks away, lets the Grok die, trades the kills over. Terizla is doing so good so far, but is that going to be enough for Candy to come back to really gain a lead here?
Well, I feel like at least he's doing his best, but if it's enough, I would say that it's not really sufficient for the time being, because there's only a couple of that sort of small leads for them. While we're looking at the goal graph, it's already telling us that Axis Esports, they're already snowballing and getting their first items up, and Norse, of course, you speak of the Terizla and Evil X just showing off for a little bit, as well as Lasted tries to finish out the kill, and yep, they're just getting cornered around.
Yeah, I don't think Norse, even though he should be clearing waves, he shouldn't be doing something so reckless like this. He could have easily walked back to his turn, but I think he tried to cut the wave a little too greedily, and now is going to get punished bouncing ball. Conan is actually going to be able to walk away, but again, the bouncing ball isn't going to be enough to protect him. Bister taking quite a bit of damage. Lasted needs one more hit. He needs one more hit, but Bister, he's going to get his ability back up. Oh, this is the sword spike.
Well, I felt like the Gushon definitely would be able to turn it around, but Mr. tries not to risk it, and if he ever falls back to the turret range, it's also Evil X right across. But Axis Esports putting their forces into its mid lane, trying to break it all the way open. So all the tier 1s are already off the table, and Axis Esports here looking for that turtle. And in the span of less than 5 minutes, we're seeing Axis ramp things up, and they're getting that 5,000 gold lead right after securing the turtle.
Yeah, I mean, Axis Esports is running on as a 4-1 kill comp. Norse is in trouble, gets locked down by the wild charge, but he's trying to make it out. Rejuvenation isn't going to be enough. Toms is going to be the next one going down. He's trying to heal back up. He pops his own rejuvenation. Is it going to be enough? He's able to make it. Bister gets the back line. He kills the Valir already with an instant 1-2 punch. Shadow Blade Slaughter into combo. Oh, ton MVP. One more hit. He survives a little bit more. Bister's taking a lot of damage from the Darkening, but it's not going to be enough. Toms bouncing ball allows to pick up the bomb. Quickly cleans it all up, and a nice team wipe there.
Oh my, that definitely was a team wipe, but of course Norse spawns up a little bit later. Now let's have a look at our U-Mobile replay here, as we see of all these members of CC, they were just dancing around the tower, and even though they have the chance to run away, they opt not to do so. They recommitted to the fight, so this one's definitely on them, where we felt like, you know, like they were already running towards the lower side, and Bister, from that perfect health, he just falls flat, and that's the power of the Lunox when you give rid 5 kills in the back.
Yeah, and once he gets it, ooh, penalty zone already used on the Norse. Oh, big cash here! Great time is right into penalty zone. This is huge. They try to turn this around, but they don't have enough damage. Oh my goodness, this would have been different. Oh, here he comes. Konat's trying to make it through. Aldius, he tries to pop. He pops his shield. Is he gonna get that last hit? No, he does not. Does not have vision. Goes down instantaneously and disrupted time and time again. Another team bomb going in from Axis. Great engage coming from Candy Comeback, but the lead is just too large. There's too much of a gold gap onto Axis Esports, and there's so many items, their stats, it's just too much.
Unnecessary fights after another, and this is definitely a full commitment, and CC slowly falling off, and I felt like even for them to actually commit to Rin was definitely a mistake because she still had the order of riddance up, so easily she could just pop it and make sure that she's well and safe, and now Link will be able to secure that third turtle of the game. Axis Esports now having too huge of a lead, and I don't think that they'll be throwing this game anytime soon.
I would tend to disagree. I think that was like a really good engagement. They had all the abilities land on the right targets. They just didn't have the items or the damage to kind of follow up. Maybe if they did this when the gold was a little bit even, it would have been better.
Whoa.
Oh no.
That's a little bit hard to watch, of course, and we're already seeing the penalty zone being used up from the side of members of Candy Comeback, and now Axis Esports will be breaking the doors wide open once again over the mid lane, but it still stands for the time being. Monster kill for the Bruno. Banton MVP will fall for that double in the hands of Lung, and now one more Way of the Dragon over onto Norse, and this will be legendary for Rin as they break down the bottom side. And yep, back to that sort of fight. It was beautiful, but they did not have all these members to actually follow up. And speaking of that, that's almost a great Tyrant's Rage to push them all the way back. But Axis Esports were too tough to bring down. And Conan is running for his life, is trying to escape. Only one tick of health left, and he does walk it out alive, but not so fortunate for the Gushin as Axis Esports tries to close things off with a bang. And Axis Esports will secure a total of 3 points by the end of day 2.
Yep, strong dominant game coming in for Axis Esports, showing that they are a class above Candy Comeback here. But again, these guys, really positive mentals all around. They are having fun. They knew it was a defeated game, but still they are keeping themselves positive. Very respectable.
Yeah, very respectable indeed, and not many teams will be able to pull off such a risky composition as well. And at one point, it does look like it was coming into effect because we talked about that struggle of farming. Of course, Axis brought them 3-0, but they were still trying to look for those sort of opportunities and creating them towards the bottom side. But it was way too hard as Lung was the one emerging on top alongside with Rin. And these dynamic duos here walked off with one of the most kills as well as damage of the game here, with Lung having that 10.7 KDA.
Yeah, I mean, overall, just a huge lead being given over. That early game from Axis was so powerful, and I think if CC kind of held their ground a little bit more, kind of focused on clearing the waves, making sure they want to kind of hit level 4 before they start these bigger fights, I think that should have been the option, but it was just a little too difficult. Let's look at the highlights and recap the game so far.
Yep, starting off over on the early game, we see, of course, Norse getting chunked out by Evil X as well, getting that first blood. You talk about that nerf. It doesn't feel like the Grog will be needing any sort of buff for the current standpoint. But looking at this sort of fight inside of that river, and this was due to that sort of a commitment towards Turtle, but Mister was all by himself, and he dove right in, and he gets caught out by both the Chow as well as the Brock as well, and here comes that sort of extended fight. But this is where things get even more interesting because Tom's hop right in, tries to knock Rin at the back, and he gets himself into trouble as well. And after that, tries to pull himself back, and this is where Mister says, okay, I can get that kill towards the side of Valir, but what comes after? Mister should follow up, but because he's just waiting for his cooldown, he thinks that he can take Rin hit on, but he regretted instantly when Rin shows up.
Yeah, I think the rest of the team should have kind of just backed away, waited for their cooldowns, and then went back to engage, and I think Mister kind of overextended there. But overall, I think this is like one of the greatest fights because CC was looking very, very poised to win. Like Lasit was almost about to die. Rin so close. More importantly, Lung was like at 1 HP at a certain point if he didn't pop that regenerate and slide tackle out of there in time. Like, ooh, had the timing been just a little bit better, it was just 0.2 off of getting locked down.
That's definitely something that we will have to look at because Candy Comebacks, if they do have 5 members right there to commit at the same time, then it will be a different fate for Axis Esports. But the follow-ups were a little bit way too late. Of course, for Aldous, you don't really expect him being somewhere in the front line. Anyways, he's got to buy in with his ult. But what's done is done, and now, of course, we congratulate Axis Esports for advancing into the playoff runs as we see the Malaysians being one of the hometown favorites, of course, and there's still heavy support for the Indonesian side as well as Burmese goals of Myanmar.
Yeah, so many teams have already qualified so far, and this is only just Group B, and the competition is only going to get more fierce with Group C as well as Group D happening tomorrow and the day after. And I think overall Group B has been good. I think we've talked about this before, it being anybody's game here, and I think unfortunately Team Gosu won't be able to make it through. 2 teams already eliminated, but what can we say?
Yep, that's definitely one thing that's great. But of course, in the Group of Life, we're going to see what's going to be the words from Axis Esports.
Thank you so much, Shoutcasters. I am Anjin Faldas, and welcome to the post-game interview. I am with Scott, the support of Axis Esports, getting 6-0 and securing the spot in the upcoming playoffs. Mr. Scott, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm fine, all right. What is going through your mind coming in to this playoffs?
I'm very happy and very proud of my own team because we managed to get back from the 2-0 setback from BG. We managed to secure two wins against Gosu and Kenny Comeback.
All right. Looking strong right there from Mr. Scott. You got 2-0, as you said, for your series number 1. How did you guys maintain your composure for you guys to reset and come back from this day?
Yes, we had like a little bit of mental down from the first game, and we discussed properly as a team. Then we really make a preparation for our upcoming matches.
Okay, all right. You just need to focus, right? You just need to focus. In terms of preparation, how will you guys prepare coming into this playoffs this weekend?
In terms of preparation for playoff, my team will like have more training time and have more time to sparring with any other team lah, because we really lack of sparring against any other team just a couple of days before this.
All right, so you have 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 2 days. 2 days left. 2 days left for preparation. Of course, any messages to the upcoming teams that you're gonna go up against with?
To the teams that I'm going to come out against with, we will come back stronger, and you just watch us come back stronger later.
They will definitely come back stronger. Lastly, do you have any shout-outs to your friends and family and fans?
To all my friends, family and friends, and of course my fans, right? Please keep supporting us. Sometimes we like a bit down, a bit up, but please keep support us because we'll make a surprise for you guys.
All right, he is asking for your support. That is Mr. Scott from Axis Esports, and I am Manji, and that is it for the day. Let's bring it back to our shoutcasters.
Thanks, Majin. Man, I mean, when you see, especially after the interviews, you kind of have like good insight on, you know, the kind of the mentality of the player. You can see like Scott, he's exhausted after today, and I mean, you can definitely see like the mental strain after the BG game. Coming into this, at least they had that reset, and they're looking good going into playoffs.
And I'm feeling good for the side of Axis Esports as well. Now that they qualified to the playoffs alongside with BG, which means that they'll be facing off against other teams to qualify. And being in the upper bracket definitely feels good. Then again, of course, it's going to be real tough. But then, well, of course, I got to correct myself right there. Because, well, I repeat myself a couple of times right there. But, of course, now we'll be able to see them perform in Asiata Arena. And now, the top two, of course, advances to the playoffs, as we mentioned. These are the scores for today. Burmese Ghost managed to rank in a total of 6 wins, not dropping a single game at all, while Axis Esports first. I mean, 2 wins, 2 losses will tally up to 4 points. team goes to with a total of course, 2 wins and 4 losses right there. And Candy Comeback did not manage to get any sort of points at all with no wins for today.
Let's look at tomorrow's schedule. This is going to be Group C, and a lot of big names are going to be here. We've got Sunspark, Todak, Evil Esports, and Geo Esports as well. Man, this group is going to be exciting.
Wow, this is definitely a stacked lineup. Some may say this might just be that group of death. Well, it's going to be pretty tough for all these guys to make it out alive, but make sure you guys tune in. Same time, same place, as we'll start our very first match, of course, with Sunspark heading up against Todak at 10 a.m. GMT +8.
Oof. I mean, Group C, it's a scary group. I mean, I've heard a lot of the rumors going around about the group and how the teams are actually scrimming and practicing going into it. I'm really excited to see Geo as well as Evil Esports here because they've got a lot to prove compared to the rest of them who, especially when you're a team that's qualified from the MPL, that already gives you a branding of like, hey, we have experience, we've been playing this for a decent amount of times. For M1 qualifying teams, like especially for VFM who definitely proved themselves to be worthy, actually push themselves forward into the playoffs, and I'm hoping to see that here in Group C.
That's right, and I'm also hoping to see some of these surprises. Of course, some of these teams may not be as well known as some others, but then again, they're here to pull off an upset and state their mark as the best of the best in the world of Mobile Legends. And of course, there's going to be so much more to elaborate, Gideon, as now we come to final ending of the day.
Yeah, as we come to towards the end of the day, I mean, obviously, we've seen how Group B and Group A is. Honestly, who do you think from Group A and Group B, like, did you expect this particular outcome?
Well, to say the expectation is not exactly what I would expect, but it's definitely the deserving results, as we'll definitely close things out here